Well, this is awkward.
It's been a while. All right, welcome to the Twinjitsu podcast. We've had quite the week. And by we, I don't want to exclude Evan Muncie, Daniel Ford, and was that it? The various people that helped us put this together. We wouldn't have been able to do it.
David Spielberg.
Especially without Evan. I mean, we put together like some fake columns and all sorts of cool stuff.
What makes them fake?
Good question. I don't know.
They're real columns that we put up. Continue.
Okay, thank you. There's going to be a lot of that. Looking forward to it. So we started Twinjitsu 7 years ago, probably. I was looking. I think was 7 years since we last did one, and we're doing it again. But we wanted to do it legit. Part of the reason that we struggled doing it is we didn't have a place to constantly do it. Now we do, and it's kind of going to be plug and play, so it should be, in theory, easy. But now we do the hard part. I feel like even though putting all this together was hard, it's going to be hard to be consistent, which is what we struggled with in the past. But hopefully, we've solved it with this studio.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as
we're gonna have to figure that out.
I think it felt like a chore to set up, and then we've dealt with that with music too, and we've always wanted our own studio, our own space, so we finally have it. It feels cool. Now we just need to get 1 million listeners a month so I can move out my apartment.
One thing you'll notice if you're watching on YouTube or any of the social media, yes, we know the TV is off center right now. We have a couple artwork pieces going on next to it. So I look forward to reading those comments about the TV not being center. Thank you.
Yeah, all the comments that are going to be about the TV not being center.
It's probably going to be 1, 2.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. So let's talk about a little bit about our goals with current Twinjitsu 2.0, and then we'll talk about some other things, kind of a blast. What is it called? A look in the past? A blast in the past?
From the past?
A blast from
a
the
blast
past.
In your past?
Yeah. So, some goals with the podcast. What are you thinking?
I think this is just going to be we've been teaching full time now for 4 years, but we've taught for, essentially a decade now, which is pretty crazy to think about. But we want a space outside of the mat to be creative in jiu-jitsu. We like to be funny, make some jokes here and there. Why'd the chicken lay the egg? That's how it goes, right?
Something knocked on the door or something.
No, I think you're supposed to ring the doorbell.
Okay.
Anyways, so I think that's what this is going to be. And I personally, I'm going to have to work on clearing my throat.
Dude,
I personally,
cut the podcast.
I personally love talking to people and asking questions and things of that nature. So I think it's going to be fun. And there's what I've always said about jiu-jitsu is it's all about the people. That's what kept me going and kept me showing up. So I want to meet the people of jiu-jitsu. Not all of them, but some of them.
So you touched on similar goals that I've just been thinking about it. Number one, the people. I think a huge part of jiu-jitsu. One of probably my favorite part is the people you get to meet. There's so many different walks of life that train jiu-jitsu. And also, we're not going to talk about it probably today, but tying into something else we're going to be launching soon. Stay tuned.
Wait, do that. What did you just do?
I don't know.
With your hand?
I don't know.
You couldn't recreate it?
I couldn't.
Okay.
So that's probably better that I don't.
Well,
so,
let's just pretend you did that with your hand and I whoop-ah, blocked it out of the way.
Self-defense. So I'm looking forward to interviewing people, and especially like creative people, whether it's someone who's an artist or musician or even like a chef or whatever, and finding jiu-jitsu within things that have no relation to jiu-jitsu. That's something that excites me. And then ultimately, I want to you've said this, and actually a student reminded me, is that jiu-jitsu has given us a lot and we've taken, and it's our time to give back. And
I said that?
I think so.
I don't think so. I feel quite differently nowadays.
So part of that is like jiu-jitsu. I want to bring people outside of jiu-jitsu to trying jiu-jitsu, and I also want to help people stick with it, help them not quit. So yeah. Another goal with this podcast for me, at least kind of an iteration off of what we did, is I want it to be more structured and run more like a show. I think, and we'll talk about this, our experience now through business, and we are treating this podcast as a business, whether it makes us money down the road or not. If we treat it like a business, ultimately you will get business. And I feel like we've learned that through how we run our schools, and hopefully we can translate that to this podcast. Okay, so let's talk about where we were when we first started Twinjitsu. I think I was already a black belt. You were maybe purple or brown.
No, I was a brown belt. Because you
Have
had
you gotten your black
podcast.
belt yet?
Yeah. You had a podcast before Twinjitsu, and maybe you were a purple belt during that, or you were a brown belt during that time. But anyways, yeah.
But
we weren't teaching.
We weren't teaching.
We were working. I was gonna say regular jobs, but not regular jobs, like restaurant retail jobs.
I thought about this just as I knew what we were going to talk about. For me, the podcast was almost like a way to hang on to a bad relationship at the time. For me, like I was burnt out on jiu-jitsu, all those things, and I thought the podcast would excite me and kind of light that fire and love and passion for jiu-jitsu. And honestly, the only thing that really has done that is teaching. And of course it ebbs and flows. I'm sure we'll talk about that in the podcast, but especially the past, 6 months to a year, like I've really found my love for it again, but I also know how to balance it better than I used to. But I just thought of, the podcast for me was like an engagement when the relationship is failing. Like I was trying to stay committed to something that at the time I needed a break from.
Yeah, I think for me, it was just, we've always wanted to do things our own way, in a sense of like, we never wanted to work normal jobs. We always had the dream to pursue music in the beginning. And then when we first started jiu-jitsu, we wanted to make apparel and rash guards and our own brand. And like, so for me, it's just a way to
diversify.
Obviously it'd be great to make a living off of, but I don't necessarily mean it that way.
We'll get back
just
to
a creative outlet for us.
I think
we're meant to be in front of a microphone. I know that sounds weird, but our dad, I'm serious. Our dad was in the music industry. We grew up, we went to a school that was all about music and learning how to record, and I think this is what it's meant to be.
Yeah, I think it is definitely a creative outlet, which we have both been missing since we took over, because any fellow school owners or instructors listening will attest to, like, running a jiu-jitsu school is it takes over. It's your life, and it's great. But we've had to learn how to balance it, and I feel like I
don't even think we've learned to balance it. I think we've learned to accept. I'm serious.
I agree. 100%. Like, yeah, it's just.
I think when we first started, we were like, every other Saturday, we're having to go to a tournament. It's just, we weren't fully ready for it, I guess, if that's the right way to look at it. But now we just know, hey, this is our life. This is what we've chosen to do, and we should be grateful for it. And that's how we're approaching it now. Lots of therapy helped me.
I just get symbiotic therapy.
Yeah,
like
we just
Spider-Man.
talk about the session, and he gets what he needs out of it. And
yeah, so a lot has changed since we were doing that podcast. Let's just talk surface level and not so much personal. I mean, it is personal, but a lot's happened, right? It's 7 years. We're in our
6, 7.
Here he goes.
Hey.
I need to program my audio button so I can do a drop.
6, 7.
A lot has changed. So first, kind of leading us to this podcast is we became school owners. We first got hired about 4 years ago as instructors at our original school we started training at. And then that turned into us approaching the owner and buying the gym, which was like a year-long process, which we may do a whole episode about at some point.
I think we should. I think that'd be a good idea.
Then a year after we bought GB Franklin, we became owners of GB Bellevue. So we now own two jiu-jitsu schools. We work full-time as owners and instructors, and we've got employees, all that stuff. So it's pretty crazy how, I don't know, we came full circle. I think it's really cool, and not everyone knows our story, but that we started at the same gym that we now own. And I love telling that to people.
It's weird though, because I mean, when it first happened, it was pretty surreal, but like with everything that's happened with buying Bellevue and stuff, it's like everything just feels, and I'm not this type of person, but it feels meant to be. It feels like everything's aligned how we wanted it to. It just took way longer than expected. But that's everything.
The thing we're realizing too, and is that it doesn't stop. Like, it never ends, right? We still have a lot to do and a lot of room to grow and all that stuff. And then of course there's lots of personal things. I got married. I don't think I was married during the podcast, which is awesome. We're both now looking at houses.
We're finally happy together.
And it's funny because we're looking at houses, and it only is fitting that we're likely going to be buying houses that are 10 houses down from each other
on the same street.
Yeah. So our wives love
Packer
that.
Gang.
Our wives love that.
I already came up with our signs for our set and everything.
Okay. So anything else you want to talk about as far as like Twinjitsu version 1 to now?
I think the biggest thing, I mean, we've juggled with this idea since we stopped the podcast essentially, but the reason why I was so confident to build this, buy all this stuff before we even started our episodes again is because of the experience. I mean, dude, we have so much more experience in jiu-jitsu than when we did 6 or 7 years ago. 6, 7.
I feel like the past 4 years, there was a gap for me, and obviously I wasn't training as much, but like I've learned so much, even in the past 2 or 3 years, that I feel like I'm like learning jiu-jitsu over again in a way, or like learning other layers, which people talk about, but that's exciting for me right now. But I agree, I feel a lot more confident talking about it, even though I was a black belt at the time. Like,
I don't even mean jiu-jitsu in the technical sense. I just mean like we've been immersed in jiu-jitsu more than most people ever will, because not everyone's going to own a school. And so that experience is what gives me the confidence to get on a microphone and talk about it.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm sure other parts of the story will come out as we talk about it. But today we want to just kind of go through more of a structure. So we'll move on. I think it's important to talk about some important dates. Obviously, we just had the first of the year, which is always terrifying and exciting. We both, I'm about to be there, but we both are at 3 years of quitting alcohol. Good job.
Yeah.
Snaps.
I got a little rum in my coffee, to be honest with you.
So I think it's important. I do kind of want to talk about that and celebrate it. And then for me, it's my 14-year jiu-jitsu anniversary tomorrow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So anything you want to say to me?
Congrats. Good job, dude.
Thank you.
I was thinking about this today. Like, even though it's kind of far away, I think for me it'd be 44. For you, it'd be 42. But we're not far away from doing jiu-jitsu for half of our life, which is pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah, our hairlines show it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Jiu-jitsu, I was thinking about it, and it sounds, I feel like the word choice might not be the best because it almost sounds bad, but I was thinking about like Stranger Things and stuff. But at a certain point for me, jiu-jitsu,
felt like a Demogorgon.
Yeah. No, it infected me. Where like there was just that point where I literally quit my job, bought mats, and was like, I'm just gonna train jiu-jitsu and deliver pizzas. And it kind of goes to what you're saying, where things fall in the right place. 2 weeks later, I was offered a job like at the front desk of the gym. But like jiu-jitsu, at a certain point, it just felt like it infected me. And this is like, there were even points where I took a break, but it always pulled me back in. Like, it's like what we're supposed to be doing, which is pretty cool. For me, like someone I said, oh, it's my 14-year anniversary, they kind of chuckle and were like, oh, you know the date? And I might not know the date had I not worked at the gym. I pulled my contract to see what date I actually like signed up because I was curious. But I do think it's important to celebrate because most people don't commit to anything for 6 months or a year, you know? So yeah. Biggest lesson in 14 years, don't take it so seriously and protect your body.
Yeah, I would probably.
Well, you're not at 14 years.
Okay. Yeah,
so
right.
You can do what are you at? 13? You can do advice 13. For a 13 year.
All right.
Go ahead.
Well, what am I? What was the question?
Well, you were.
Jamie, pull that up.
I interrupted you. You said you were gonna.
I just said I maybe even would reverse it, even though it's good advice. It's like, number one, protect your body. I think I learned that lesson pretty quickly in jiu-jitsu.
We'll talk about that in a future episode. Stay tuned. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, whether you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, do whatever you need to do to get our content every week. We're going to be posting an episode every week and maybe even some more content on our YouTubes. All right. So what about, let's talk circle back to alcohol. It's been 3 years. How you feeling about it?
Best decision I think we've ever made. We initially we've struggled with it. Since we were in our early 20s, off and on. I at one point quit for 2 years essentially in my 20s, and that was a great decision, but I never made a choice to quit forever. The first time I quit, I was like, I'm going to quit for a year, and I quit for 2 years. And this go around, we said, let's not drink until we buy the business. And that ended up being a year-long process. Before that, we lost one of our uncles to alcohol. And then during us quitting, we had another uncle who had a lot of health problems from alcohol. And now that he's passed, and we've just seen how destructive it can be, especially to people who are funny and have so much potential. It's like I know it's not worth it to ever drink again. So I'm not going to.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, I don't have this necessarily. I think it was the best decision, and so many great things have happened since quitting. And I don't know if those things would have happened, or if they wouldn't have gone as smoothly had we been drinking at the time. But I do miss it. Like I talk to different people who might be sober or don't drink, and I don't think about it. I don't miss it. I absolutely do miss it. And yeah, I just remember someone else we know, a good friend who doesn't drink. And I think I was probably at like 6 months, 3 months at the time. And was like, yo, it's been 3 months, 6 months. He was like, it's great. It's a superpower, isn't it? And I was like, no. The superpower would be I can drink and it not be a problem. It's kind of my kryptonite, right? Like, and that's kind of how I think about it. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss the social aspect of it and all that stuff. But it's just, we had our fun with it and maybe a little too much fun with it. And the time has passed.
Yep.
Okay. Let's celebrate. Let's get it. I got a sixer.
Yeah, I mean, you can already see alcohol just brings the mood down because I am ready to get out of here.
All right.
Wrap it up.
All right. So I'm going to switch the order of the structure here. Let's do something a little fun.
Yeah, is something going to be sad again?
No. We've made it so far 20 minutes without crying, and I was in a crying mood today.
Who's going to cry first?
Oh, I was crying on the way up here, but not anything bad, but it was some of it was being grateful. Like, how cool is this that we get to go record here and all that? But yeah. Anyways, let's do a little would you rather Jiu-Jitsu edition. Okay. And if you come up with a would you rather for me, you can. I only have 2 to start. So I'm going to give this one to you. Would you rather teach kids classes forever or only teach adults forever? For whatever reason, if it was like, hey, you have to just teach the kids program, you can't teach any adults classes. Because right now we teach a lot of kids classes, but it's a good mix.
That's a tough question.
Yep. We've got plenty of time. Hold on. Yeah, I'm recording, so you can think about it.
I'd have to say kids, just because it's tough. Because I don't want to say that teaching adults isn't rewarding, because it is, and we've had some crazy moments. Hopefully, I don't cry. Where we've had students win some big tournaments as adults, and that was awesome. And even though we've had some smaller moments with the kids winning big tournaments, you know, Morgan and Sauce have won some big tournaments, and that is great. But man, just yesterday when I was teaching, there were 2 moments. One, I walked in during Shoop's no-gi class to get ready for our kids competition class, and Jordan was on the wall. He looks up to me, and I just puff out my chest, and he just smiled. And like, that's worth more than anything. And then maybe I shouldn't say the kids' names, but
I can blank it out.
Yeah, we had another kid during the parents and kids class that smiled at me. He was having a tough class, and I talked to him, and then I came and checked around later in the class, and he did something silly in his fight stance, and we both just chuckled about it. And I don't know, that fills my soul, I think. Yeah, so I'd have to say kids.
Cool. That's
the most rewarding. And again, I'm not trying to say adults isn't rewarding, because it is.
It's maybe more rewarding, but the payoff is longer, right? Whereas like adults, we can get, and it happens with kids too, but like instant feedback, like someone can hit the move right away in class or whatever. And sometimes kids take more time to connect the dots, especially with some of the advanced stuff that some of our kids are doing now. And it's kind of crazy, but I totally get that. I just think takes longer to see the fruits of the labor with kids.
I would say, to put it in terms that we both know and most of our listeners, teaching adults is more like day trading. Mm-hmm. And teaching kids is a long-term investment. Yep. Maybe even a Roth.
Or a little maybe Roth. Even a Roth. Yeah. So, all right. Well, then I guess, should you ask me this question, or I'll just ask myself, or we can both answer it?
But yeah, I mean, you ask it, and
so would you rather?
Will answer.
Okay, yeah. We got to talk about this. Because
keep going.
Okay.
Talent's ready.
All right.
Action.
Talent, so I can circle on back to that little thing.
You spelled it wrong. It's spelled CHRIS.
All right. So would you rather get subbed once by a lower belt in a training session, or lose all your rolls by 1 advantage in that training session that day? Is it a dumb would you rather?
I mean, None of those really matter to me.
Yeah, I know, but let's pretend it did.
I'd rather get subbed once by a lower belt than lose all my rounds.
I agree. I mean, if you're losing rounds in training by advantage,
but I've never, ever. I mean, I can't think of one time I've been like, "Damn, I lost that roll by an advantage." I don't have. I'm sure you have because you were much more competitive than me, but I've never really paid it. I mean, sometimes when we roll, like when we're getting ready for competition, which it's been a while.
We'll get flagged. I mean, you're pretty talented. If Apple picks up on that,
wait till we get Shoop in here. His karaoke skills are top notch.
That's what we hear.
Yeah, I've just never looked at roles like that. But getting submitted by a lower belt's not necessarily fun. But it always gets me fired up to train, you know?
100%.
Where if I just lose every round, but I'm not really getting submitted and I'm not submitting people, it feels like not a good training session. And I'm not,
I like it.
That's not a definitive,
I would
absolute. But.
Agree with that. Getting subbed by a lower belt is good for you. That doesn't mean you're not going to think about it for the next 2 weeks, you know?
Yeah, I mean.
But that's jiu-jitsu. I mean, and I think that becomes the struggle of like when people say, oh, no, the no ego in jiu-jitsu and all that. It's like, you need a healthy ego. Like the ego has to help you get better because no one wants to get submitted with the same move over and over again. So it pushes you to get better so you don't. But you can't have the unhealthy part where you're like, for me, I mean, I would lose sleep over losing and it would ruin my freaking whole day or my whole week and like how silly. And now it's like, if we have some guy, like some cross trainer or whatever, and I have some tough rolls or lose, like, man, I feel so good. I get that like a endorphin rush like I don't get with a lot of training sessions.
Yeah, because I don't think you're meant to be winning all the time at anything, right? Like,
yeah, you want to, yeah. And like, I just like good jiu-jitsu. Like good jiu-jitsu. If I get beat by good jiu-jitsu, then I need to make my jiu-jitsu better.
Yeah.
That was pretty deep.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess this kind of relates, even though I got tapped by a much higher rank than me. But there was a seminar, black belt had a seminar. He's a 5th degree black belt.
Clip him.
Super competitive. And he posts a lot on Instagram. And he asked if I wanted to roll after the seminar. I said yes. I saw him putting up his camera. I knew what the deal was. This was going to be a smut film. No?
No. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I just knew what was about to happen. And I was competing in a couple weeks. And I was like, I'm just going to take it, you know? And I wish I could quote one of our professors here, but I can't.
Can you?
No, I can't. No, I cannot. But I just accepted it. And after the roll, even though he tapped me like 3 or 4 times and posted every single clip on Instagram, still to this day, 3 years later.
Well, you got to syndicate.
It made me, I was like, oh, damn. You know, even though he tapped me, like I felt pretty good against this high level guy. And I didn't die. I didn't break my arm.
And he literally does this to like everyone. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it fired me up, dude. I felt like I won, and he tapped me 3 or 4 times, you know.
It's really cool how you're able to change your perspective so 360 from what happened, and you're able to add value to it. I love that about you.
Yeah, it's because
I'm kidding.
No. I mean, I've gotten so good and skilled. I just have no ego anymore. Yeah. Zero ego because of how great my skills are.
Skill development. All right. So that was our Would You Rather Jiu-Jitsu edition. We can talk about this a little bit, and then I got one last little thing. it's gi season. So for people who don't train jiu-jitsu, or maybe you do train but you don't really compete a lot or whatever, gi season is typically January through whatever June, to the world championships with majors sprinkled in between. And then after that, for adults, it goes to no gi for the rest of the year. But for Masters Worlds is in August. So really it's like January to August, and then August to the new year
December.
for no gi. And we kind of, not much changes with our schedule, just our competition class and what we're doing, whether it's gi or no gi. But are you excited now that it's gi season? Maybe more competitions to watch?
Well,
Or
it doesn't, because of our schedule here at Bellevue, which is where I'm at. We don't really change much depending on the competition season, at least right now. But I enjoy both. So I mean, yeah, I like both. I wish I would have trained more no-gi earlier in our jiu-jitsu, but it didn't really become the meta until the past 6 years or so, maybe a little bit longer. Maybe like 2018 ADCC was probably when it started really popping off. But
what do you like about no gi that you don't get from gi?
I don't know. Good question.
My game's different. Like, I've had to evolve my game, especially my guard. A lot of my open guard stuff is heavily relied on grips. I think they just work. If you can train both, you should, equally, or maybe whatever, 60-40, 80-20. But yeah, like you said, I wish we would have done more no gi. It just wasn't as popular at the time. I would compete no gi, but I just never really trained it much. And then now it's obviously a lot more popular, especially on the like pay-per-view competitive side of things. But I still don't think it's, a lot of people think it's more exciting, and I think it can be, but I think gi can be exciting too. It's all rule set based, and I still feel like CJI is kind of my favorite, but we saw some issues with the last CJI with the team event. Because strategy and all that is always going to come into play. And I don't know. I think I've seen plenty of boring no-gi matches, equally as boring no-gi matches as I have gi when it comes to like pay-per-view.
Yeah, I don't have a preference
streaming.
as to what we're watching, I guess. I like to watch either, I guess.
Yeah, I would like to see more mixed cards with gi, more split between gi and no gi.
I mean, Fight to Win does that. Obviously, they're on the smaller end of the scale, but I think it depends on who I'm rolling with, if that makes, and not like a. I just think some people in the gi, especially in the Masters division, I mean, these dudes have just been lifting bricks and all that stuff, and their grips are insane. Where it's like, it can get boring in the gi, or if they can just grab your pant and hold it, and just, they're not really active, but they can really hold you down. And with the gi, but in no gi, it changes that. So I don't know. Depends on who I'm rolling with.
All right, so let's finish with a little story time. Do you have any funny? Don't share too much because we gotta put out a lot of episodes, so we gotta save some stories. But do you have a funny training story that pops out in your mind that you would like to share?
I mean, I guess this is what just pops to mind. Therapist. One time we were getting ready. It must have been like an Atlanta Open. I was probably a brown belt. Professor Jimmy was a brown belt, and we had one class before the competition. And Professor,
you probably should have had more than that. You only did one class before getting ready for a competition.
We had one class until the competition.
Okay,
so our last training session, and Professor Reggie was like, "Guys, we don't want to get hurt before the competition, so we're going to have fun tonight." And so we played soccer, and Jimmy rolled his ankle, had to duct tape it, used a whole roll of duct tape, and competed with a sprained ankle.
How did you do?
I don't remember, but I'm sure he went for a few baseball bat chokes. Maybe he got a couple.
Probably.
Shout out to Jimmy's baseball bat choke.
Yeah, I did something not similar because we didn't play soccer, but we were in Miami, and Jordan and Felix both were like, I'm just gonna chill. I was like, I want to train. Yes.
You have a couple good stories from Miami, don't you?
A couple. Okay. We'll just share this one.
Okay.
And yeah, I went and just visited a gym, and no one was like training hard with me or anything. I don't know if it was like if I was dehydrated, the travel, whatever, but I rolled my ankle just taking a weird step, and yeah, had to go to the hotel and ice and had to wrap it up and all that stuff. So be careful before a tournament. Some people like to train right up hard, like the night before a tournament. I just think you have to be, and that's fine. I do think you have to be careful if you're visiting and things like that, making sure you're not going too hard if you've like been traveling and haven't really gotten a good warm up. I'll save my story time for another episode because I think we should stretch it out as long as possible.
Man, we're gonna keep getting stories.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to save mine. So make sure you like and subscribe so you can hear my story, which is going to be a little bit better than his story next week. All right. So let's wrap this bad boy up.
That's what Dad didn't say.
Dude, I mean, are we doing this style on the podcast? Or
that's not bad. He made two beautiful, successful boys that now have a podcast.
37 minutes.
Dude,
cut that out.
I think that's fine.
All right. In closing, yeah, I just do want to say I'm proud of us, which I think I got from you talking about therapy is a lot of times like in the positions we're on. Not that anyone doesn't give thanks to us. Like we get a lot of that, but you know, like I think putting this studio together, doing all this, like I think it's awesome. So thanks for all your help. And thank you again to Daniel Ford, David Spielberg, Evan Muncie, who helped in their various ways to put this thing together. And like I said, now's the hard part is just getting here every week and being consistent. But I think kind of through jiu-jitsu and different things we've done, we kind of know our little tricks to make that work. So do you have anything you want to say in closing on our first episode?
Yeah, Blue Chew, we need a sponsorship.
I mean, dude,
what is wrong? All the podcasts are sponsored by. Isn't that a dog toy?
I think
we'll look into it.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
We'll look into it. I mean, I'm happy. I struggle with the word pride and being proud of ourselves because I feel like this is what we're meant to be doing, right? And it's, yeah. So, but happy to be here. Yeah, no, I got to stop because I'm about to just go off on it.
I do want to say if you have any suggestions for the podcast or any questions or topics, you can email us at twinjitsupodcast@gmail.com. Twinjitsupodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you like and subscribe. I've said that too many times, but it's very important that you do so. Thank you.
Also, if you're struggling to get your school off the ground, I know some people it takes them a real long time, maybe even a whole year to get their school going. We have a lot of experience. We've bought 2 schools in the past year and a half. So DM us if you need any help.
Yeah, let us know if you need any tips or anything. I'm sure we'd be more than happy to help.